Something about that moment on screen just lingered longer than it should have. You could almost feel the weight in the studio air as Ruth Langsford spoke, her voice carrying that familiar warmth but edged with something quieter, more vulnerable. Many viewers noticed it instantly, the way her words seemed to catch slightly as she opened up about hitting her mid-60s. It wasn't a dramatic confession shouted for headlines. It was gentler, sadder in its honesty, the sense that time had accelerated, that things had shifted in ways she hadn't quite anticipated. For those of us who followed Ruth and Eamonn over the years, watching them banter across sofas on ITV for what felt like forever, this felt different. Their on-screen chemistry had always been that rare, lived-in kind, playful jabs mixed with genuine affection that made millions tune in. Now, with Eamonn moving forward in his personal life alongside a much younger partner, Ruth's reflections on aging seemed to echo in a whole new way. It almost seemed as though the timing amplified everything. One public chapter closing while another, more introspective one, unfolded live in front of the cameras. What struck so many watching wasn't just the words themselves. It was the quiet humanity behind them. Ruth has always been the picture of poised professionalism, elegant, sharp, the kind of presenter who makes television feel like a warm conversation with a trusted friend. Yet here she was, acknowledging the mirror moments we all have but rarely admit to on national television. The droop, the sag, that sudden awareness of a changing reflection. "I teeter on this tightrope," she described, balancing body positivity with those raw, private doubts. Some audiences began wondering whether this vulnerability came partly from the very public spotlight on her ex-husband's new relationship. While nothing has been confirmed, the emotional layering felt undeniable to many. It's fascinating, isn't it? How television like this holds up a mirror not just to celebrities, but to all of us. Ruth's remark tapped into something deeply relatable, the quiet ache of watching time move faster than we'd like, especially when life's chapters shift unexpectedly. Viewers online interpreted the exchange as more than a casual chat about confidence. It felt like a woman navigating the complex intersection of self-image, public perception, and private healing. The studio atmosphere seemed to soften in response, that mix of empathy and shared recognition from her fellow panelists. You could sense the audience leaning in, not for gossip, but for that rare authenticity that cuts through polished TV moments. Think about the body language in moments like these. Ruth's expressions carried layers, small pauses, a flicker of self-deprecating humor that didn't quite mask the underlying honesty. It wasn't performative vulnerability, it appeared deeply personal. For longtime Good Morning Britain and ITV viewers, who've seen Ruth and Eamonn's partnership evolve from professional colleagues to life partners and back again, it stirred complicated feelings. Admiration for her resilience mixed with sympathy for the emotional weight anyone might carry after decades together. There's a possibility that seeing Eamonn embrace a new chapter highlighted Ruth's own journey of rediscovering herself amid the changes. This is what makes these broadcasts powerful. They remind us that behind the glamour and the auto-cues, presenters are wrestling with the same universal questions. How do we value ourselves when society often measures worth through youth and appearance? How do we speak about aging gracefully while still feeling its pull? Ruth's willingness to explore that tightrope, promoting positivity while admitting the wobbles, sparked real conversations online and in living rooms across the UK. Many felt seen in her honesty, especially women in similar seasons of life who understand that confidence isn't a straight line. The atmosphere around these stories shifts because they touch on something bigger than celebrity. They reflect television's role as a cultural mirror, showing us not just polished success, but the messy, human process of adaptation. Ruth has always brought warmth and wit to her work, and in this instance, that same quality made her reflection all the more poignant. It invited viewers to pause and consider their own relationships with time, self-image, and moving forward. Perhaps what stayed with so many wasn't a single quote, but the emotional truth underneath. the courage it takes to voice insecurities in a world that rewards perfection. Ruth's moment became significant because it humanized the presenter we thought we knew so well, revealing the thoughtful, resilient woman continuing to show up authentically. It's a reminder that even in the spotlight, growth often happens in those quieter admissions.